Now, let's take a look at another type of picture of data. Let's take a look at what we call a histogram. A histogram is what we sometimes refer to as a bar graph. And you'll see why once we make our histogram. Let's take the same data set that we just talked about. We had the party and we had the frequency. Under party, we had the Democratic Party, we had the Republican Party, and we had the Independent Party. Or we had individuals that did not belong to either the Democratic or the Republican Party. There were 40 Democrats in this sample, 40 Republicans, and 10 independents. Now this time we're talking about making a histogram to picture our data. To do that, first of all, we draw two axes, a vertical axis and a horizontal, a vertical axis and a horizontal axis. On the vertical axis, we write the frequency. We write the frequency on the vertical axis. On the horizontal axis, we write the type of party. Now, if you're dealing with raw scores, then you would write the scores here. If you have class structured data, you could use the classes. You could write the classes, or what we call the class limits, or you could write the boundaries. So what you have on your horizontal axis will depend upon the type of frequency table that you have. If you have this type of frequency table where you have different parties that people belong to, you will use party. You will write party on your horizontal. If you have numbers, then you can write scores. If you have class structured data, you can write your classes or your class boundaries on the horizontal axis. Now, you look at your frequency table. For the frequency goes from 10 to 40. So you have to set up a scale on your vertical axis. And it's up to you what kind of scale you use. I'm going to use 0. Of course, we usually have 0 here. So I'm going to use 0, 10, 20, 30, and 40. Now there should be the same amount between each pair of numbers. The same amount. In other words, we're counting by 10, so it's 10 between the 0 and the 10, 10 between the 10 and the 20, and so forth. Now, on the vertical axis, you write the parties, the names of the parties, because we have nominal data here. So the first party, we write Democrat. The next party, we write Republican. And the last party, we write Independent. So we write the three types of parties on the horizontal axis. The next thing we do, we look at the frequencies. The frequency of the Democratic Party, the number of people that turned in survey forms that were in the Democratic Party is 40. So we go to the Democratic Parties, or Democratic Party, and right above that we go up to 40, and we draw a bar back down to the Democratic Party. a vertical bar. That bar represents the Democratic Party. It represents how many individuals in the sample were in the Democratic Party. And of course, you can see the bar there. That's why we call the histogram a bar graph, because it looks like a bar here. And then of course you can color this, or you can put some type of design in it, as I've done here. Next is the Republican Party. There were 40 individuals in the Republican Party. We go over to the Republican Party, we go up to 40, and we draw a bar. It just happens to be the same size bar here that we had for the Democrats. And then once again we can color this, or we can put some type of design in there to distinguish one bar from the other. Now, the last one we have to do is the independents. The independents. We go over to the independent category. There are only 10, that's the frequency. We are on the frequency scale here. Here's 10. We go straight across to the independents and we draw a bar. And of course we can put some type of design once again as we did before. And this concludes our histogram. This is how we construct a histogram based on this frequency table that we have here.